What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Singers, Nerds, and Homies. Today, I am your host, Reginald Whigham, and today is a very special episode because I have two very important guests. I have two very special close friends of mine, and that is going to be Dreamer and Gabe. Welcome,
Hi.
you guys.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we're glad to be here.
It is such an honor to have you guys. I feel like so giddy just being in the same room as you guys. You guys are like such a joy.
Oh, thanks.
Every time I'm around you guys, every time we hang out, anytime there's a party, anytime there's a social gathering, we connect. And
Yes,
I
we do.
really just thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Of course. We're on the same level and the same vibe.
You're always welcome wherever we go, too.
Oh,
You know, we feel the same way.
Thank you. So, to start things off, we'll go down the line, and you guys can talk a little bit about yourselves. We'll start with you, Dreamer.
Well, I am a Southern California native. I am pursuing acting right now. I'm doing a lot of community theater. I've done acting for about, almost 10 years now.
Okay.
And started in college, surprisingly. Everyone asks if I started as a kid, but no. I was just dramatic. But yeah, pursuing that, doing a little stuff here and there, trying to break out into film, not just theater.
Okay.
But yeah.
And for you, Gabe?
Well, Southern California guy also, and as far as singers, nerds, and homies, I feel like I check all three boxes, and if I would say so myself. But I've been acting since I was in high school, so I do on-stage productions, musicals, and plays since high school, singing even longer. And now I work full-time and focused really on my career and business, but I also make time to do community theater.
Nice.
Because it is a passion, and I just love media, movies, music, like popular media, not popular media. There's a couple things I'm really into right now that I'd love to talk about. And I've always had that passion. So it makes me very excited to be here talking about it with you two.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm super excited. And we'll definitely get into what you want to talk about in a bit. But I definitely want to ask, what got each of you guys started into wanting to pursue like acting or, go down that path?
So I have always heard from my grandmother that my mom had this choice in high school. And she had a choice to do banners, which is like a color guard type thing, and to teach catechism or to do drama. And she had three passions for all of them. But came down to it, she can only do banners in high school because you can't do it after that, and you can always do drama in college, and then you can teach catechism at any time.
Yeah.
So she chose that. She chose drama in college and then banners in high school. And since I was obsessed with Bring It On as a young child, as many of us are, I wanted to channel my inner Kirsten Dunst and wanted to definitely be a cheerleader. And that's what I did. I was a cheerleader for 4 years, and then as soon as I got to college, I'm like, I'm doing theater.
Now, were you popular to boot?
Oh, girl. That's for another day.
You didn't find your people till college.
That's for sure.
That's where you became a queen bee, more
that's
so.
Where I met you.
In the theater department.
And that's where I met, literally, Gabe. It's where I met my best friend. It's where I met the people that I know that if I'm 60 and in a retirement home, we're going to be dropping it to T-Pain with our fake hips.
Your walkers,
your
hip replacements.
Fake hips, fake knees.
Yes, we're going to have a cane and use it as a stripper pole. Woo! Yeah, so I will say that the theater, once I got in there, it was just like a whole new world. It was, I don't know if you've heard the term professional pretending, but that truly is, for me, what it became. And it was so much fun to explore worlds and people that are not yourself and kind of escape. And for you?
For me, pretty simple. I mean, music's always been really, really important in my family.
Yeah.
There's like a love of musicals that came from my grandmother, shared it with my mom and my uncles, who passed it on to me and my cousins. And from that point, it laid the foundation for me loving theater. But it wasn't until high school, because I wasn't acting until my junior year of high school, I really got into Hamilton because I had other interests, which was American history, like philosophy, politics. I was getting into all those.
There was like a connection.
Those things hit me like, I wasn't the science guy, you know, I wasn't the math guy. I loved like language arts, storytelling, and history. And so when Hamilton comes out and it takes like hip hop and other musical genres and made that all together, I just listened to that album like every day of sophomore and junior year. And then I'm like, oh my God, musicals are so cool. We're going to do Grease at my high school. So I auditioned and I landed Danny Zuko.
Oh! Yeah, he did.
In my high school's production of Grease.
First show?
First show.
Wow.
First show, he gets the lead.
Yep.
Gets the lead banger. What a good choice. Congrats on that.
Yeah, and it set the foundation for me for like, oh man, I can keep doing these shows and you know, of course it was a great experience.
Yeah.
You bond with your castmates, you have a great time on you know, on stage and off stage, and then from there it was just high school show, and then Ventura College, where we met, you know, all three of us and did all our shows together. And
so basically, I can thank Lin-Manuel Miranda for giving me Gabe. That's
that's
our Lord and Savior, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my next question, was like, what was your guys' first show and what was that experience like? So you said Grease. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on how that first, you know, that first initial being in a production?
I mean, I can't really recall too many juicy details other than it was just a lot of fun. Oh, but the juicy detail is that since I went to a Catholic high school,
Catholic private school,
they had to dumb down and water down the suggestive themes of Grease. Grease is like a family movie, like
down in the sand.
We couldn't say. He got, I don't know the words even at this point. He got Hannah down in the sand. We had to change that to like, we went walking on the beach hand in hand.
It's very similar to, because Rubicon, before COVID, they had done a summer production of Grease.
Really?
And it was a watered down version. I remember looking at tidbits of like the character, like analysis and some of like the script details and the songs, watered down version. I'm like, this is not the Grease that we grew up with. It's like she like grew up in like Utah. She was like a Mormon girl.
The Mormon Grease.
Yeah.
It's called gel.
Yeah.
Gel, not grease.
Not grease. Yeah.
Pomade.
No, literally.
No, that was
pomade's too flavorful. That's what we used here in Southern California.
Well, yes. So for you, Dreamer, first show and first experience.
So actually, my first play I ever did was a class play in 4th grade about the gold rush. And we split parts down the middle. And I really wanted I think her name was like Lucinda or something, but her last name was Wilson, which is my last name.
Okay.
And so I was like, I want her. And so I did, and I got her, I think either the first act, it's either first or second. But so that was my first play, and I kind of really liked it. But my first ever production in college was a 1-act festival. And it was interesting because we had student directors.
Yeah.
So a lot of the students that had been in school before me, they were casting, and I loved it. I loved the process of, you know, getting fitted for costumes and, you know, knowing what your hair is going to look like and the staging. And this one was really interesting because it actually took place in the Helen Yunker lobby. So
the lobby, not the actual auditorium.
No, it was the lobby. So our acting professor had a genius idea that he wanted to do kind of like a maze. He wanted to do like a Fright Fest type maze.
Okay.
And so it started in like, and there was different paths you can take. So if you went, you had to choose, I think, one of 2 or 3 paths. And so you couldn't see all the 1-acts. First of all, so you had to either come back and see the other ones, or and it all ended in the auditorium to see the same, I think 1 or 2 1-acts, but it didn't. It didn't like all. They weren't all the same.
Yeah.
So it started in the black box, and then it went through the lobby into the auditorium.
Okay.
And it was interesting because it was almost like a like in the round.
Yes.
Like it was a stage almost in the round, and it was in like it was a Twilight Zone-y type, and the whole lobby was our kitchen and living room, and it was basically this man coming in saying, "I'm gonna be your husband and dad now." And everyone's like, what the hell? And then the real husband coming home, and they're like, oh, you can be the dog.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, but it was really fun because we had people sitting on the couch. We had people sitting on the dining room table, which was really funny because they do this like really risque, like dry hump type like staging. And I think the actor who had played the new husband, his grandparents were at the table one day. And it was so something else, I will say that. But yeah, so that first one was definitely interesting. For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have a very vague memory, but by the time I came to, and we all went to the same college, that's how we got to know each other. But I remember one of my first things, because when I was in high school, I was very involved in like the theater arts department, doing all the shows and doing the dabbling with stuff in like stagecraft and whatnot. And so I know that the scene shop usually has like this look about it. I remember going to the college and seeing all of this like scary stuff just sitting around in the scene shop, and somebody was like, oh yeah, there was like a Fright Fest recently, so you were a part of that.
Yes.
Okay, and were you a part of that?
No.
Okay, so now let's go to the next question. When did you guys meet and what surrounded that?
So we met during, so I officially meeting like, oh hey, my name is actually after he got cast, but I did see him during auditions, and it was held in a different room than it normally was, and it was actually held in the music room for this particular show.
Okay.
And it was a collection of, I don't even know.
There were comic strips from like the New York Times, published in newspapers like New York Times.
That was the audition?
That was the
play,
show.
The play,
Oh,
the play
was the
was
show.
an adaptation of comic strips from newspapers made by
A certain author that I can't remember the
yeah.
name of.
But think of like Shel Silverstein style
type vignettes, if you will.
Yes.
in the
And
newspaper, and
so the auditions were clips of those vignettes.
Okay.
And
that's what the sides were. And so we get up on stage, we have a scene partner, and we read the sides and try to create the comedic bit out of it, right? And that's basically where we met.
And then when our professor had us come in to enroll in the performance class and all that stuff, he was the only one that was new because everyone else had came from the Crucible that we had just done in the fall. And so I formally introduced myself to him because I held myself to a high standard even in college, and I was like, I need to make sure that everyone is welcome and that everyone knows that I am friendly and not a brat or a B word. I don't know if I can curse, but anyway.
What was really cool was
so I went up to him and I was like, hey, my name is Dreamer.
What was really cool was like that getting to know you in that process of that show was that you were very much a leader in that because you knew everybody, you had a really good rapport with everybody. And so they would look to you for guidance on, like, we literally had a dance captain who made a dance that was so crappy that in protest, the actors chose not to do the dance. And she re-choreographed the dance to make it look good. And the people in that number
with the professor's approval, of course,
followed her. And it was always her doing stuff like that, which I really respected because I come from a place where I have been in the opportunity to be in a leadership position myself, and I really value that. And I was like, oh man, I just have this great respect for her. And then it's like, she was already really beautiful when I first saw her, and then it's like got more beautiful over time. And then the Showmance happened.
And so here's the tea on that, is that it started during Tech Week. And so it was about, we had, I think, a 2-week run, I believe. It was a 1 week? 2 week? I don't know.
I think it was 2.
I'm not sure. Anywho, we were also in the same acting class at the time. So I would take him home sometimes because he didn't have a car. And then over time, things just kind of grew. Things just kind of happened. Little flirty things happened. And then we got together. And then I, again, taking myself too seriously, was like, we can't show anyone this. Because also, our professor had made a kind of like...
a strong point that in a professional space, in any production, media, like film, theater, whatever, you do not like make those public displays of affection or show that you're in a relationship with somebody in the cast, like in your working environment, because it's completely unprofessional.
Yes.
And there was
took that to heart.
There was a Showmance that was kind of in a different show, the fall show, the Crucible, that we were like, huh. And I think everyone was kind of about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he was trying to make that point about that, but he had brought it up later because it was still kind of going on, but it was kind of getting messy at that point.
Ugh.
And
Messy showmance.
and so that was also around
Public
the time.
showmance. When it's a public showmance, then
It was
then
public
people see
and
the
messy.
mess.
Mhm.
So
And
what we did is we just didn't
just hit
show. We just didn't let anybody know.
We just hit it.
Yeah,
and
for
for
the entire
about
run.
And then after the run ended, for about a month, we went to class, we were together, and that was, I think, the smartest move, because
Good.
we were able to figure out who we were in a couple and how we were able to navigate that and what we wanted without anyone being nosy or asking
Good.
like, how is this, how is that? And we didn't have to put on a show for anyone.
Good.
And it made us it kind of brought us together, and we fell in love so
Well,
quickly.
it's so fun because it's
Yeah.
like this fun little secret, and it's like we're in on this joke that nobody else is in
Yeah.
on, so it made it even more fun.
And
know?
we decided, because we're dramatic, theater people, how could we not be? There was a friend of ours that wasn't in the show that we were in, but that was in the fall show, and they were like, hey, come see this show at the local theater. And so we're like, okay. So he got us all tickets because they needed to fill the house or something.
Yes.
And a lot of people from the show we were in were going to be there. And so we're like, all right. We walk
Make
up.
it official.
We walk up like this. And the looks on everyone's faces, I will never forget.
It was just the look of, when did that happen?
And there was one particular person that was just like, that was ingrained in my memory. And and we were just like, oh yeah, it's been about a month. And they're like, a month? And it was so funny that another one of our friends went to acting class the next week and was like, they are dating. And our teacher goes, I know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As if. Uh-huh.
And he goes, I've known this whole time. And I was just like, did he though?
He did not. He did
And I'm
not.
like-
Putting on a show.
Anyways, so that was that. And and we're almost at 7 years.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
congrats to you guys. You guys are truly, like, whenever I get into a relationship, like, not, like, obviously, but I hope to, like, maybe get some, like, subtle notes as to, like, okay, how can I keep, and I like the subtlety, especially at first, because it's, like, you don't want to, like, initiate something, and then it's, like, oh, yeah, we're together, you want to, I like it slow,
figure yourself out.
Figure it out,
Yeah. Because you have to see, it's another person, it's another energy, much
Yes.
like acting on stage.
Yes.
When you're with a scene partner, you can sense that energy and that vibe. And so that's why everyone does chemistry readings, because the chemistry, the biology of it, it's very different with different
Yes.
people. And so when you're with someone, you want to be able to figure out how your own energy and your own self responds to that, and how is this healthy for you? Are they going to propel you to be a strong person just by yourself, or is it reliant on the other person? And I think that me and him, we were able to figure out that we are strong individuals that make each other stronger.
Good.
Without being reliant on the other.
Good.
And I think that that's really important. And we always say that we wish people such as yourself, that we wish you to find the love that we have, because we...
Fingers crossed. God, if you're watching, if you're listening.
I got you. Let's manifest it. Everyone manifest it.
No, oh my gosh, thank you for elaborating on that. That's
Yeah.
really sweet. My next question, so since both of you have been doing theater for quite some time, or just acting in general, do you have any preferences when it comes to, like, acting on the stage or acting in film? And why do you feel it that way, like stage versus film? Like, compare and contrast.
Well, I think I've had more experience with film than he has, which is little to none, by
Okay.
the way. I've done a minor student project for another local college that is not the one I go to. And it was for a director and cinematography class, so it wasn't a full-length features film. And I've also was an extra on set for another indie film that was last year, and I think it's already out, but I'm not sure where at yet. But I think what I like about film is the ability to tap into a moment that is so raw sometimes. And having to go back to that place repeatedly, I think that is so challenging for an actor. Then and I love that challenge. And I love being able to even explore that same raw place over and over again in different ways. And in theater, kind of the same thing, but a little different. It's a one shot. So if you do something this way, that's how it's going to be for that show, for that many people that see you.
Yeah.
But you can also, no show is the same every night. No. Everyone says that. And I think that's the beauty of theater as well. But I think one thing that I have trouble with in film is that I'm so dramatic. Let's get a dramatic counter of every time I say that. Shot.
Oh man,
that I'm very expressive, and for film, sometimes that's not what you want. Yeah. You want it more subtle, and so I think that right now.
So, like what you're saying is exactly why I feel more comfortable on stage, because this is what we've learned even in class, is that like theater acting is large, and big movement, compared to film acting, which is small movement, especially because you have a camera that can do a close-up shot on someone's face, and the energy and action you're getting from that shot is all within the face. Whereas on stage, if you're on stage, you have to make your movements big enough that you're telling the story to the people all the way in the cheap seats in the back of the theater, right? And so, it's like it's more comfortable for me to be big and.
But with that too, one of the things that I always want to do and will continue to strive to do is that I really want to get into comedy, because that kind of plays into that.
Yes.
But also creature acting. I love being in a good costume. I love being in makeup. I love transforming into someone else. Yes. Doug Jones is one of my favorite creature actors. He is amazing, and just the physicality it takes, the transformative aspect of it. Oh, I love it. And I would love to be a part of something like that. I think it's amazing.
Now, speaking of creature acting, and you were talking about Doug Jones, have you seen the new Frankenstein yet? No? Oh my gosh.
I know, I want to talk about it so bad. But we have yet to watch it. We fixate on certain things. Yeah. And so our current fixation were the recent musicals that came out, obviously. And then we just have yet to dive into that. But I love Guillermo del Toro so much. Yes. So much. I really love The Shape of Water.
I personally haven't.
It's okay, but a lot of people get a little weirded out by it because there's a lot of questionable stuff in it, but I think that his direction and his colorism is so beautiful. And another one of my favorites is Crimson Peak. Have you seen that one?
I've not, but I have heard of it.
Has Tom Hiddleston in it. And it's great. And Jessica Chastain.
I love Jessica Chastain.
I do too. And then, so much. Who's the other one? The one who's Alice in the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland. Mia.
Yes.
Mia something.
Something, yes.
But yes, she was amazing too. Okay. And it was actually came out that they weren't the first choice for that movie. Both of them. The lead actors, I think, had to go off and do something else, and then they chose them. And I think it was the perfect choice. It was a beautiful movie. I loved everything about it.
Nice. It's Guillermo del Toro.
I mean, how can you...
My initial and when you're little, before you truly expand or expound upon, I'm going to be an actor, or I'm going to be, in the field of this industry, you don't, learn actors' names, you don't learn certain things, but you gravitate towards certain things. When I was little, I was so impressed and interested in Jim Carrey, or other people. So my initial truly oh my God, Guillermo del Toro is amazing, but also I was horrified because I'm little, was Pan's Labyrinth, and that creature with the eyes. Oh my God, the grape scene. Oh. But it's now that I'm older and I rewatched it, I think a couple years ago or during COVID, I'm he's a mastermind.
Timeless.
Oh my God, amazing.
Timeless.
So when you get a chance to watch Frankenstein, let's...
we're gonna kiki.
Yes,
for sure.
We're gonna kiki on that. So... Another thing that I want to ask you guys is, what has your experience been like traveling with community theater?
Yes.
And like, how does each venue differ from the other? What is that like for you?
That one is definitely interesting. So can I say cities?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have gone to Santa Paula, Ojai, Carpinteria, and Santa Barbara.
Wow.
I have not yet worked in Oxnard, but I've also worked in Ventura too.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of different spaces.
Yes.
A lot of different budgets, a lot of different calibers. Santa Barbara being a more high-end city, they do have a higher-end budget.
Yes.
So that I was unfortunately pampered because my first jump back into theater was Santa Barbara.
Oh,
so when
okay.
I went back to community theater, I was like,
You're like, what is
and
all
I was
this?
like, wait.
Oh.
And then I took a step back and I'm like, calm yourself. Hold on. Santa Barbara, money.
Yes.
Come on now.
Well, yeah.
So once I kind of took a step back from that, it was truly amazing how many people take their time and volunteer their time to make a production work just for the beauty and the love of the craft. And that is truly something that, you know, you can't find really in any other profession.
Mm-mm.
Like, very rarely do. And I've performed on really small stages and, you know, a really big stage. And, you know, it's fun and it's nice when you have the budget because
Yes.
you have the ability to take more creative liberties. You know, you have more ability to have trust in other crew members because they're there.
Yes.
You know, in community theater, you don't really have that.
No.
The show I just did had one stage manager that was also helping with the box office, that was also helping with media managing, that was also part of the board. And
Wearing too many hats to the point
wearing
where
too many hats.
we're
and
worried if we're getting called on time for stage calls.
I
you know
kept
what
getting
mean?
standby to places and never places. I got standby to...
What even is that?
What is has anyone ever heard of a standby to places?
No. Ever.
It's not a
ever.
thing.
And I've worked like
Please?
actual Broadway shows. I've
Standby?
never heard standby. I've heard standby for like maybe like a prop or a set piece
Yeah.
about to move.
Yeah.
But for places for the actors
Yeah.
to stand by, no.
Like for
No.
for something like, oh, standby like Q3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Never in my standby to play. We just started interpreting that as places. Because,
Every community theater production is unique.
Yes.
It is.
Like,
Yes.
I've been in some better end theaters, and I've been doing a lot of work in one that's like would be considered possibly, you could say, lower end, and it's
Yes.
like the green room is something that
It's an
is not a
RV.
room. It's
Yeah.
you know,
but
and
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful theater.
but
and
my point
I
is,
love the people
you
around
go
it.
into that environment, and it's like you don't have the luxuries you expect to be afforded in a theater. But you have a cast that is full of really nice people, and they're working together really well, and all the relationships you're forming are really positive, and the show comes out really great.
Yes.
And it's like you have that, you know, magic that you make, despite the fact that, you know, you're in this like rundown environment, you know,
Yes.
diamond in the rough. And then you can have a really crappy experience in a really rich theater, like it, you know, but
Yes.
it switches every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
And one thing, like I
It's
said,
like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
exactly. And one thing I just, like I said, really love is the people that run these theaters, because they really do have all the heart and they have all the passion. And I've made such good friends with them, and they're so lovely at each theater I've worked at. And I was gonna say something else. What was I gonna say?
Well, on that note,
Sorry. Dan.
no, go for it.
One thing about community theater that kind of allows me to branch out more is that because they're so understaffed, it allows me to branch out and be like, hey, do you need me to help with
Yes,
styling
yes.
costumes? Do you need me to,
Yeah.
you know, help stage manage?
Yeah.
And that's actually in Ojai. I was in another production of The Crucible. And my character was only in Act 1. I was the only character that wasn't in both acts. And they're like, hey, do you want to stage manage for everything else since
Yeah.
you're literally doing nothing? And I'm like, I would love to. And I got stage management experience, and that led me to get another job in Ojai that was actually paid for stage managing and also
And
makeup
I got
and hair.
hired there too.
Nice.
And it's like I never stage managed before, but I learned how to do it
Yeah.
by being hired to do it.
Now, before the higher job, did you get that additional credit as
Yes.
good?
Yes, and I
Good,
got
good,
paid
good.
on that one too.
Wow.
Actually, I forgot. Yeah, I did get a stipend.
So you were in the show and you got that credit of stage managing and you got, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really fun because, and Gabe has actually, taken in certain productions to look after props and label prop tables, assign a prop table so that way no one loses props.
But that's kind of the
manager.
beauty of community theater, depending on where you are. If someone's not doing their job, I just pushed my way in and did their job.
Yeah.
Because they weren't doing it, and I said, you know what, it's got to get done, and I know how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And and that people appreciate you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in the real world and in real productions, there are rules and things in place where
Yes.
Yeah.
people have their assignments and you do not cross those lines. The makeup person does not mess with the prop manager's props.
In professional, like Broadway, like
Huge, yeah.
But I'm gonna spill a little tea
Yes,
right
please,
now.
please,
I'm gonna spill
please.
a little tea.
I'm ready.
So, funny story is that even though we initially met at one college, that theater arts department has kind of dwindled over
Yes.
the years.
Yes.
So I have since advanced to a different college. And in this college, the theater arts department is impeccable. We put on literal Broadway shows. The
seen it.
stagecraft professor, he is
I've
oh my
seen a
gosh.
show there.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. But behind the scenes, it can get messy, which is unfortunate because it's a learning facility. We're all there to learn, even though some of us may have more experience than others. And so I have been, I've had the pleasure of getting to, like you guys touched on, of not only being in the show, but being able to, take a position behind the scenes and stuff. But, and I've also had experience in professional shows and working in community theater.
Yes.
So I have that mindset.
Yes.
And I also take into consideration, I need to be a mentor because a lot of these people don't have the experience that I have.
Right. Yes.
But there was this person, we are not naming names, but this person, oh my God, she stepped on people's toes.
Yeah, you don't want to
She
do that.
stepped on people's toes. And the worst part about it is that no matter how many reports were made, it was this same cycle over and over. And it killed me how she impacted other people. And she literally made a just the environment kind of toxic backstage, and especially if we're in this tight room for costumes, hair, and makeup, stepping on everybody's toes, and it's okay, back up.
So was it
It's the energy.
she's telling
That's what I'm telling you.
the people who's assigned to do the jobs how to do their job?
Yes.
Okay.
Or if okay, so say I have experience in makeup, hair, costumes, pretty much everything under the sun. And literally if one person came to me, there was an actor for a show, I think it was last fall or something, and she needed to be at places in probably less than a minute, and she was just barely finishing up with her makeup. But her character is supposed to have a larger chest, and so they use a push-up bra and then some contour. And she's like, please, can you quickly do my contour? And so I was like, oh, I got you, girl. So I quickly do her contour. This girl was also the makeup supervisor that was being toxic. She whipped around the corner, and she's very judgmental, and then she was literally like, did you just contour the actor? And I was just yeah, because she asked me to. And then I walked away. I was like, I'm not dealing with that right now. Because she's she will literally, I've heard her say, oh, that's not your job. It's
there's a time and place. When it's an educational setting, you work as a team.
Yes.
There's in a professional setting when your job and it's a paycheck, and it's I can understand politely saying, hey, or reporting to the powers that be.
Yes.
But that is just too much. I really, I was telling you earlier about a situation I had about how people, in a professional setting, it's common for, it's customary for actors not to give other actors notes.
Yes.
And to not, basically that is just a big no-no. And that's something that I learned, but I didn't know right off the bat, especially coming out of college into my first professional production. I did not know that, but I learned it. And when said person was doing that, and I remember one of our other castmates kind of pulled her aside and was like, hey, maybe not. And she responded okay, and started thinking a lot about her interactions at the time too. Did it stop a lot of the incidents from happening during show? Maybe not, but at least there was some reflection, and that person, I really do love that person kind of went out of their way, and it was a teachable moment.
Yes.
And I would hope that if I was doing something that I didn't even know was taboo or just like not something you do, that someone would come up to me and be like, hey, don't do that.
Yes.
And, you know, because not everyone knows. It's almost like a secret rules that no one lets you in on.
They are the unwritten rules.
Yes, the unwritten rules.
And like you can hear them in school, but if you don't, the only way you're going to learn is probably the hard way, just running into it in your career.
Yeah, I've even like as the older like we're getting and stuff, I'm coming into the realization of stepping into a production or just stepping into something, and there's people that are like, oh, this is like my first time, like, you know, what's this or what's that and stuff. So it's like I have to take into account like, okay, teachable moment, you know, educational facility, let's, you know,
let's
get into
learn.
exactly. I also wanted to touch on, because you guys were talking about like, oh, like great cast, great experience.
Yes.
How are you impacted if you've ever worked with a cast that's not in sync, that's not like, say there's like that toxic person or something? How does that affect you and the chemistry in the performance?
Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I do, because I know exactly the example of what I can talk about, and I'm just going to have to be very careful to omit any finer details of it to save face.
No names.
But it sucks is the simple answer, and the reason it sucks is because I really don't like. I personally don't like the disrespect aspect of when an actor is a diva, right? When an actor is entitled, or it could be anybody. It could be a director. It could be anyone on the production staff that's feeling entitled and acts like a diva. You're basically trapped with them. Because a show is like a contracted gig, right? Like you sign up to be a part of this team that has a goal, and they're going to work together to complete that goal.
Yes.
And when you're working with people who are like, you know, being assholes essentially, you're stuck with them.
Yeah.
You know, and my takeaway from it is that every day Dreamer and I would drive home in the car and just talk mad shit about about who pissed us off that day, and in detail, and be like, this is reason A, B, C why we hate this person. Now, here's the moral of the story. When you behave that way, when someone behaves that way, in the real world, everyone will talk about them behind their back.
Yeah.
And they will not get hired again.
Yeah.
Like, if justice is served, you know, but realistically, like if you're on a real set, real production, real real stage, that director, that producer, that stage managers especially are the ones who are on the ground with you, working with you, are gonna talk about you. They're gonna tell the director about you. They're gonna tell the producers and the people who pay for the show about you.
Yes.
And you're not gonna get cast again because nobody wants to work with that kind of person.
Yeah.
They want to work with people who, like, you know, it's important that the actor is good at acting. The makeup artist is good at doing makeup. But it's almost equally as important that they're respectful and are good with people.
Yes.
You know, and that's what the takeaway from that experience was.
And on that note, too, I have a similar and different approach, is that my thing is to kill them with kindness. Because, as Gabe says, it's people talk, you know. And whether that said person that is causing discourse, you know, has a greater opportunity, they'll at least remember I was kind.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is the most important thing, is that I can control myself. I can control my energy. And it may make my job as an actor harder, for sure. But like I said, I love the challenge of trying to grow and go into those spots that maybe I'm very uncomfortable with, but I need to get my job done.
Yeah.
You know, if I need to have a love interest with this particular person, then fine. I have to think of Gabe and just put Gabe's face on him. That's great.
Divert your attention.
Yeah, you know, like really put myself in a moment that I can actually feel and manufacture it. And when it's different casts, when I'm not in a scene with them and they're just creating a hostile energy, I do my best to actually overpower that. I'm like, I'm going to create an even more positive environment.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, it's more of a you issue. And if you don't want to indulge in the positivity, fine, stay in your corner over there. No one's asking you to. No one's asking you not to. Do what you want. I can control myself. And if I can bring a smile onto someone's face and make them feel loved after you made them feel some kind of way, then that's a win in my book. And basically, yeah, what Gabe said, it's like we will vent to each other in the car all day long, but in this atmosphere, I'm
you
professional.
present yourself like so that you're enabling yourself to be hired again.
Yeah.
Because you are a business, right? An actor is their own business.
Yes.
And you just brought up a really excellent like perspective on that dream, because like what you're saying is, despite the fact that somebody you're working with is presenting themselves in a way that will hurt their career, you need to do that much more to show how much you are the opposite of that, because the director, the producer, and the people who pay for the show are going to see that and be like, well, I want to work with them next time.
Yeah.
You're going to look even better. If you, it's really tough. It's tougher for me because like just when people are
shows on his
disrespectful, you know, I want to be confrontational to them. And in the professional setting, you just got to like swallow your pride and be a better person, be the bigger person, right? And when you do that, like, you know, it's good. That karma's going to come back. People are going to watch, and you know.
It's one of the reasons why I love acting, because, you know, when you do have a good group, you become a family.
Oh, 100%.
You really do.
Yeah.
And like, I've always loved spreading positivity and joy and having fun. And it's so like, why would anyone want to spread negativeness?
Well, yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
And so when that opportunity presents itself, it's like, you know, I'm just going to try harder, you know, like just make, not to say that everyone needs to be happy and whatever the issues they're dealing with at home don't matter. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if there's a moment where there's just a breath of fresh air, then, and I can create that. Like, even when I'm acting on stage, when someone's going to a play, when they're watching a movie, it's an escape.
Yes.
And it's such a beautiful thing. And I love creating that relief for people.
Yeah.
It's so, even me talking about it, I get all giddy because it's so nice. It really is.
Yes.
So, like I said, I want to do that with my environment too. I mean, yeah, it
Nice.
does make me look good, but that's not the reason why I do it. It's a little selfish because it makes me feel good. But, you know.
Just real quick on that point, like your career growth that I've seen in the last few years has been immensely due to the way that she carries herself around the people she interacts with backstage, like and at work.
Yeah.
Almost every single audition and callback and lead she got for those has been from referrals from word of mouth from this director to the next director to the next.
Here's
from
the train of
how well
events.
she's worked with them.
My first professional production I had gotten from our costume professor that had told a friend, and that friend, we went. I got the role. There was an audience member in that show that had the most boisterous laugh, loved it, and we all went out after because there was such a quiet audience and it was just him. And so we kikied a bit, exchanged Instagram handles. He contacted me a year later and was like, hey, I know this friend in Santa Barbara who's doing this script writing class, but they need actors to read the scripts. And so I was like, okay, bet. And so I read, I guess the teacher for that class approached me and was like, hey, I'm actually doing a show in January of the next year. Come, which was 2024. Come audition. And I'm like, okay, bet. Had an amazing time. Beautiful show, met so many lovely people. He referred me to Santa Paula, that his friend was a part of directing another one-act festival. Wow. In that, I had gotten cast, but then an actor dropped out of another director's one act, and then that director also is in Carpinteria. And then it just kind of went from there and there and there, and that's how it snowballed. And, you know, another person from Santa Paula referred me to Ojai. And so it's just been trickling.
And that success is going to come from keeping that snowball rolling.
Yes.
Just keep building that network of people, and but also keep your reputation.
Yes.
It's really good. Right?
Yes.
And
Yeah. So basically, takeaway is like mind your P's and Q's, but also be kind.
For sure.
You know, because
be kind.
And the karma will come back.
Yes, exactly. Another topic that I want to bring up is education, because you don't just start with nothing. How has your guys' trajectory been with, say, when you first started acting, in any acting classes or anything? Have you basically everywhere that you guys go, do you take something away, or where are you at now as an actor based on what you've gathered? Have you picked up knowledge on your own? Have you actually stemmed knowledge from people who have taught it? How has that formed where you're at now?
I think for me, when I first started college, I thought I knew what acting was. And our professor, who is widely debated, actually helped me a lot in ways that I didn't know. And, you know, like I said, methods here or there, but I think me as a person responded to them.
Yes.
And that's not to say it's for everyone, but I did learn a lot about myself, and a lot of the things that I was going through in my personal life really weirdly, it's weird how the universe maps this way, but it was almost mirroring what I was learning in acting. So that's why I think I was able to get it, and it unlocked more of how I can use my own experiences in a healthy way and kind of be able to allow to feel. Because I think that's one of my own, you know, like personal responses is like a safety response to not feel. You know, it's easy that way. But acting gave me a place to, hey, it's okay to feel here, and learn that these are healthy emotions. And through that journey, through college, and, you know, I'm still in college, I'm still learning. You know, get your degree. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Just go to college. I was able to take that and expand. And I learned a lot from my first professional production. Like I said, the not giving actors notes rule, you know, like how to, when I was on set for a film the first time as an extra, it really, you know, how separate the hair and costume department is, because in college they kind of group together a bit. You know, it's like costume, makeup, hair. But on film, no. Like if there is blood on a costume or blood on your face, two different things. They need to communicate. And so it's like you wouldn't think about that normally. You'd just be like, oh, this needs blood. Here we'll just do blood. But it's really interesting how, you know, each production I do take away something different, and whether it's about certain people that I like working with or certain people that I feel like I need to work harder with. But yeah, you learn something new every day.
Okay, what about you, Gabe?
Well, I'd say that like acting classes in college, theater classes, were the foundation of my understanding of the fundamentals of the craft of acting. And when I think about performing on stage and how I'm going to do that process for the production, I do consider the lessons like Meisner techniques and how to think about acting as believing truthfully under imaginary circumstances,
living
truthfully, right? Like all the fundamentals are relevant. I also do at the same time believe that there's no better teacher than practical experience, actually getting onto a production. And that's why we do it in college, because we do productions in college for that very reason. But, you know, as far as my takeaway from the education part, I'm a bit of a different case, as are a lot of people in my position, where I went to school and then I decided to go to work at the same time, and then I got a better job than what I was, you know, focusing on, or that took priority from my school. So I decided to focus on that and grow that career. And I just do school in the background now. Like it's the side thing. I decided to go to work before to go to school. And so now, you know, from doing that acting, I always thought to myself, I'll tell you a little anecdote about it, because when I'm applying for better jobs, I put on my resume, okay, this is my experience, and I was taking all my acting stuff off of it for my business resume, and then I showed it to my mom, and she said, why don't you have anything about, like, your acting experience or, like, plays that you've done? And I said, well, you know, like, I don't think it's relevant to this. And she's like, well, consider the fact that the things you've been a part of shape your abilities, okay? And you know, and I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm an actor. And my mom was like, well, an actor was the president of the United States. And I'm like, oh,
She's not wrong.
Make a good point. And I think she was talking about Reagan.
Definitely.
But anyway.
Reagan, Schwarzenegger as governor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me think about this a different way. In my job, I basically sell software, and I help and manage customers who use a software. So I'm like their representative. So I'm always communicating with people. Communicating with people is my job. And in acting class, we learn that acting is reacting.
Yes.
So when I'm interacting with a customer and they're telling me everything wrong with the product that I'm selling to them, I have to know how to react.
Yeah.
I have to practice reacting to them.
Yeah.
And it's improvisational.
Yeah.
So all those skills that I started in college, I'm using now. And for those reasons, I'd say for most career paths people choose, but especially in business, it's worth giving that acting 1 class a try as your elective in your general eds.
I would recommend always taking at least one acting 1 class, because just even when I was working customer service, it really does help you get out of what you think is normal. Like coming out of high school and getting out of that high school mindset of like, a handshake, I'm nervous, or you know, like just breaking that nervousness or physical boundary of what you think is normal or not normal. It can make you more comfortable in your own skin, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And
being able to look people in the eyes when you talk to them. A lot of people I've noticed, and kids especially nowadays, don't look people in the eyes when they talk to them. I'm like, you got to develop that skill, because you're going to need that when you have a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely, I'm in that similar boat of being of those initial acting classes, and that definitely helped shape where I'm at, you know, being able to interact with people, having that bubbly personality, and not feeling like closed off or confrontational.
Yes.
Not being timid at all. Which then I guess I just exude this, you know, this personality or this aura of, you know, being approachable.
Yeah.
And so there's people that I don't even know who feel comfortable just based on seeing me or...
That's how we met. Do you remember the first day in class? I was like, I love you. Do you remember? I think you were wearing a tracksuit.
In the back.
You were wearing a tracksuit, and I was like, that is fabulous. I remember that now.
I remember the tracksuit.
Yes, it was I think it was blue.
Oh, the blue Jeffrey tracksuit?
Yes. And I was just like, oh my God.
And what's funny is it wasn't even like so.
But it was fabulous. And I was just like, oh my God, you're amazing. You're just like I felt that aura. So like, he's not wrong.
No, and that definitely helped me kind of drift towards you and your group, because at the time there was like that group, they're like untouchable, like no, like don't interact with them.
And I didn't want that at all. I didn't want that at all, because that's what happened. So when I started college in 2016, there was already that group, and then there was the new people, and then I didn't go back for like about a year because of my personal situation was just messy. And so when I came back, almost everyone had left, and it was so tiny, so small. And then that's where more people came in for the fall show, and then that's when a new group kind of started. But I made a point. I was like, I don't ever want to feel like how I felt in that first year. I want everyone to feel welcome. I want everyone to feel like they don't have to be walking on eggshells, because for what? It's community college theater. Like, there's no reason for that.
No, exactly.
So it's like when that new year started, I was just like, okay, we need to welcome people. We can't be closed off at all. And so,
you were definitely the icebreaker for that. So I remember that, and I'm really grateful for that, because I remember that hubbub of being like, oh, the untouchables, the plastics, if you will.
I would never have, even in my wildest dreams, thought think of that group that way.
No,
that is so hilarious.
I think it was because of the personality of that one person.
Yeah.
That seemed kind of like the leader. And so it was like, oh, that group back there, no, like, hands off, don't interact with them. But then, like, the icebreakers and having that one person to interact with, it kind of helped segue into being like, oh, yeah, I can interact with these people. We're on the same level. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Same vibe.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And some people did have their walls up, you know, and some people did show more on their face to new people than others, and that's fine. That's who they are. But I never want, that to ever, like, make someone feel unwelcome, and that was my point. And so I'm so glad that you felt more comfortable after our little kiki. I'm so, like, happy I remember that now. Like, it just came to me. But
so something to touch on, since we're all kind of like working our way around professional theater, age gaps. How do you handle working with, like, say, like, you're an actor that's, like, mid-20s versus, like, having to work with an actor that's a child?
So We actually just
came off a production. It's perfect to talk about this.
Yeah, we just came off a production, a Christmas production, that had children in it, and I played a mom, and I had a young girl who's, she was 10, playing I think like 8.
An 8-year-old.
And I did the same show last year, and it was daunting for me because I had never worked with children, and so I wanted to be as respectful as possible. And, I made sure to introduce myself to her. When her moms came around, I introduced myself to them and let them know, hey, I'm going to be playing her mother. I let her know, like, hey, if there's anything you don't want me touching, like your shoulder, your head, just let me know. Like, if you feel uncomfortable holding my hand that day, let me know.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of, like, give them that space to speak up if they're uncomfortable, because I think that's one of the most important parts for child actors, is that when they have the ability to speak up and not be afraid to speak up, that's what you want. So that's what I kind of wanted to give. And so the children along the way in that specific production were a little difficult. This year was different. I actually worked with my stage daughter's sister throughout that entire year in different productions. And so I knew her, and I talked to her, and I did kind of the same thing. And I'm like, hey, if there's anything you don't want me touching a certain day, just let me know. Anything you don't feel comfortable with. And it was just such a pleasure. And it created a nice rapport too. And then a lot of the other kids, we had about I think ranging from, it was about 10 to 13 that we had. And, that Gen Alpha phrase. Oh, dear. It definitely, I will just say, it wasn't a dull day in that. But on the other end of the spectrum, if I were working with someone older, it depends. I read a side once with a gentleman who was older, and we were supposed to be love interests, and it was weird. And I had worked with this gentleman before, and he was like a father figure to me, and it was that was one challenge that I really could not get over. I will say that, because Did
you guys get paired together, like cast together?
No, we didn't get cast together, but this callback was so weird. She had auditions, and then called back people in pairs, and then saw no other chemistry with anyone else. And so to me, I just felt like I was like, you don't want to see that person with that person,
yeah, mix it up a bit. No,
and so
you want these people.
It led me to believe that the show is already precast in her mind, and it didn't really make me feel comfortable. I was cast in the show, not as the part I wanted, but I ended up dropping out because I had a really bad gut feeling, and I had also had another opportunity lined up that ended up falling through. But I just didn't do that show.
Yeah.
And so, but working with older people in a non-romantic role, it
depends on the old person.
Yeah. Yeah, just like it depends on the kid. It depends on the old person.
Just like it depends on a person our age. I mean,
yeah.
We came out of a cast just now of our last show full of people in their 50s, some even around 60s, and some around mid 40s or whatever, and they were all lovely. Interesting. It really depends on the individual. We had one gentleman playing a very central role, and he's a man in his 50s, white hair, very sweet guy, and such a strong actor. And so if anything, I will say that at some points it's there is something about an experienced actor at the top of their game that when you're in a scene with them, I almost find it a little daunting to be paired with them, because it's wow, you know what you're doing, and I need to step up and match your energy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. For kids though, it's we had a great experience with the kids in our show this year. The year before was hellish because they were little rapscallions. They didn't listen. They stepped on our toes constantly, and they
where's the wrangler?
Were loud backstage and had no discipline. And there's nothing we can do about that. That's their parents' job. They need to learn the discipline somehow. For if they're going to do productions. But yeah, for working with kids, it's I think safety is the number one and most important thing for child actors too. And I come from that perspective because I'm actually an assistant scoutmaster. I've been involved in the Scouts program my whole life, and now as an adult member, we do like 20 individual like online trainings. A lot of them to do with like how you interact with the youth and how to protect them and keep them safe. I think, this is my hot take, is that the film and theater production industry could really benefit from putting in some like requirements and guardrails around that, where it's like you just do a little online thing. We have simple rules like whenever there's like kids, you know, you always have to have 2 adults for every 1 child present in like a room or a space, you know, and children and kids should have a buddy, and the buddy, they always go everywhere with their buddy, so they're never alone.
Things to keep the kids safe.
Yeah.
And that's my recommendation.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up, do you have any advice for anybody out there that is like interested in acting, and like how do they go into that? What can they do? Or say like they had a bad experience in the middle of like doing something and they're like, oh, like, do I want to stick with acting? Do you have any advice for anybody that's like, why take that route of going into that? Or why to continue?
So if you love it, then it's worth it. If you're feeling hesitant about it and you no longer get that rush of fresh air, that feeling of, I had once, that same gentleman told me that the moment you're not excited for an audition, don't do it anymore. So the moment you're not excited for a show, you can step back, and it's important to give yourself permission to step back. So if you feel like you need to, go ahead. No one's going to be upset at you. No one's going to be mad at you. But if you're nervous about taking that second step, you have to recognize, am I comfortable just not moving forward? Is it the fact that I don't want to propel forward and I just want to be here, but I could be greater and I'm scared for that? Then push yourself. Go forward. Take that extra acting class. Take a stage combat class. Take a stage managing.
Improv.
Go to an improv group. There's tons of community
for all
theater
ages,
improvs.
like for you're an adult, like that's a great place to start. If you're out of college and out of high school, out of, you know, improv. In college, like try acting 1. Just try the acting 1 class. If you don't like it, don't do it. But like, if you've never acted before and you need an entry point in high school, join a school production, audition, get the ensemble, go through the process. If you hate it, don't do it again. If you like it, like work harder and try to get that principal role, right?
Yes.
And another thing too, if you're nervous about being an actor, go to a community college, ask if you can help out backstage. You know, it's really just going out.
You can have just as much fun like doing the production backstage as the stage manager, rather than having to be on stage.
The shared stage manager panic is such a bonding experience that I think everyone needs to experience at least once.
And it's like, it's cool, it's so great because it's thrilling. Even backstage, it's thrilling. Like it's a special kind of adrenaline when you're in front of a big audience and the lights are up and they're all in the darkness and you're bright lit up and you have to say your lines or sing.
Move, I have a quick change.
It's a special kind of adrenaline, but you still get that high from even being backstage and having to be the backbone for those people on stage. You know? And I don't know. For people who want to be actors,
give yourself the permission.
Acting class, audition.
Give yourself the permission to go for it. And if you're in it and you're not sure, give yourself the position to take a break or say no. That's my big advice.
Community theaters are typically also looking for people.
Always.
They're pretty much always looking for people to fill in the background. And then once you hang out, like, I just hang out around the community theater. I used to just drive her and sit in the audience and watch. And then they said, hey, we need a body on the stage for this scene. And I said, okay, I have a little experience. And so now I'm doing principal roles with them, you know. So it's like,
good. Well, I hope people feel informed by that, and I hope that they do take what you guys have offered with them, so that they feel that confidence of going into the field, or feeling that refuel to continue doing what they're doing, or to feel the need to step back if they need to.
It's okay to give yourself the permission.
Thank you guys for elaborating on that. It has been truly an honor having you guys here.
I love you.
Oh my gosh.
I love you.
I love you guys too. My name is Reginald Whigham. Have been your host today. This is Dreamer and Gabe. And thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out any of our other videos and any of our other special guest episodes. And hopefully we get to have you guys back. It's truly been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.